Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to the Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a model launched in 2014 and now discontinued. This is the Rolex Cellini Dual Time, reference 50525. The watch is 39 millimeters in diameter in Everose red gold. It is 12.6 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, 45.4 millimeters, and it has a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Zoom out a little bit, put it on my wrist. My wrist is 16 centimeters circumference, and you get a good sense of its fit. It's thin enough to fit underneath the cuff. It has a nicely stepped and domed bezel to that end. It's short across the wrist to the point that I could recommend it for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. And again, my wrist at 16 wears it with plenty of clearance on each side. And you can see that well here. One more look at the cuff shot. And we'll take a look at the hardware and the software. Large rectangular scale alligator leather, matte black, monotone stitch. You can see it uses a folded edge. There's calf skin on the bottom. You can see this is a brand new Rolex factory strap and a rarity in modern Rolex timepieces, a Rolex factory red gold pin buckle. The case is relatively simple, blended lugs that are surprisingly narrow, slim, and trim when viewed end on. Everything's of high polish. We have a little domed portion of the bezel, which actually is double gadroon. The first is polished, the second is coined. And then we have a screw-down crown. The watch is 50 meters water resistant, but 50 meters with a screw-down crown is particularly aggressive for a dress watch. So I would say that on a water-resistant strap, this watch probably would be surface swimmable. Now, about the complication. You can see this is a dual-time watch, one of several that Rolex has made in recent years. The GMTs, the Explorer 2s, the Sky Dweller, and for a while, the Cellini Dual created a flotilla of Rolex dual-time and travel-time watches. I can set the local time zone separately. By the way, I'm going to wind this watch up so you can see exactly how everything operates. Caliber 3180, doing yeoman service inside this case. As I set the local time, the watch continues to tick, and it doesn't affect the reference time. The idea here is that it's useful for travelers. Now, if I pull the crown out all the way, now I engage hacking or stop seconds, and I can move everything in sync. And if you watch the sub-register down at 6 o'clock, the secondary time zone, you can see that it features a little viewport at 9 o'clock that depicts the day and the night, so you have an AM/PM indicator for that 12-hour scale. There's a lovely rayon-style black guilloche, this being a mass-produced watch. It's probably stamped guilloche, but done very well. There are little gold chapterings for the inner and outer dial of the sub-register, and you can see it has its own little rayon emanating out from underneath the hands. Hands here are all alpha-style hands, with the exception of the seconds hand, which is a counterweighted lancet style. There's a little sunken channel for reading minutes and seconds outboard, and you can see that channel splits the faceted and polished rose gold applique hour indices. Applique rose gold, Rolex crown, and then underneath the case back, you can see my video rig right here. You can see that, well, there's not much to see. It's a Rolex Oyster caliber, and it's derived from the 3130 family of movements, but this is called caliber 3180. It's a bidirectional automatic winder with a 48-hour power reserve. It has the stop seconds function, the twin independently settable time zones, beats weight 8 beats per second. It pivots on 31 joules. It is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer, and for durability, it has a full balance bridge and a free sprung balance. The free sprung balance also making for very precise and tailored adjustment. Now, the watch includes an overcoil hairspring made by hand, and that helps the watch to keep consistent time in any physical orientation. The better to pass the COSC test and excel on your wrist. The hairspring is also made of blue oxidized niobium zirconium, which makes it highly anti-magnetic. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this discontinued Rolex Cellini Dual Time.